Stranger Things 4 promises to be a lot bigger and scarier than previous seasons. The first half of Season 4 is now streaming, and it's filled with a lot of pretty scary moments, not to mention the rather terrifying upgrades of the season's monsters and villains. Season 4 is packed with a lot of grueling scenes, leaving its viewers terrified, and we're counting down the top 10 scariest moments from Stranger Things 4 Volume 1. If you've yet to see the new season, beware of spoilers. Chrissy, a cheerleader for the Hawkins Tiger Chair Squad, finds herself seeing things that aren't there and being haunted by her past. After the pep rally, she gets taunted by a force masking as her parents. I don't know why her walking in the woods alone was so scary, but a weird giant clock appears out of nowhere, crawling with spiders, making the scene a little more terrifying. Again at Eddie's trailer, the nightmare continues, and this time they become a lot more real. Eddie walks in to see her being possessed, and the monster responsible reveals itself. At first glance, it's the epiphany of scary, and it doesn't get any less scarier throughout the season. She begins to levitate, and slowly all bones in her body started to break, and her eyes explodes. By this time, a few things could be confirmed. 1. The town of Hawkins being haunted again. 2. The victims being targeted are teens with trauma in their past and are going through a rough patch. Fred Benson, Nancy's assistant, starts seeing visions and wanders off while chasing a lead from the Chrissy case. He winds up in the woods where he encounters upon a clock and a bunch of ghosts claiming him to be a murderer. He makes it to the highway where he relives his worst memory. The creature scarily emerges from the shadows and kills him. The small specific details in his features and the unveiling of his lair leaves the viewers terrified of what's to come. The group continues to learn more about the Vecna and how it chooses its victims. We see him back at his lair, using a psychic connection to pick his next victim and looking gruesome as ever. Stranger Things wastes no time in showing all the reasons you should be scared of the Vecna and continues to give the most blood-curdling scenes. There's something sinister about Max becoming its newest target and it looking right at us. Of all his victims, Max is of the most importance to him. After visioning the clock and learning that it's coming after her, the group looks for a way to save her. Max decides to spend her final moments writing letters for everyone, including Billy. He gets Steve to bring her to East Hawkins, but makes a quick stop at her mom's. There, the Vecna impersonates her mom and gets a hold of her mind. She manages to break free and visits Billy's grave. The Vecna enters her mind again, and she's faced by Billy. She unconsciously makes it to the Upside Down, and its unearthly, lifeless, hell-like scenery captures the image of a dark dimension. Steve, Lucas, and Dustin tries to find a way to rescue her, and she did something that no one else has been able to do, which is break the psychic connection between the Vecna. Nancy and Robin sets out to find answers and goes to Penthurst to speak to Victor Creel, who is said to have murdered his family in the 1960s. The slow movement towards the light revealing his face, along with the tense music, sets up the horrifying scene that this is. Nancy fits together pieces of Max's drawings that fits together to make the Creel house. The group breaks into the house and witnessed strange, spooky, and supernatural presence. They follow the light that led them to the Vecna's lair. Another scene that's sure to give you the chills. Patrick and Jason hunt Eddie and the Vecna attacks, sending Patrick flying from the lake, and like the other victims, his bones snapped and eyes gouged out. The group discovers there could be a gate to the Upside Down beneath the lake. Dustin's theory was right, as Steve finds the water gate and gets dragged to the Upside Down. In addition to its spooky, ghost town vibe, there are terrifying flying creatures that attacks Steve. Nancy, Robin and Eddie rescues him, and together they fight off the monsters and find shelter. Throughout their grueling journey in the Upside Down, we see tons of horrifying views of the opposite dimension. Hopper and the prisoners prepares to fight the Demogorgon. The tension rises as the gates open and they await their fate. It goes black. It attacks and kills the prisoners, and Hopper tries to hold it back. And this has got to be one of the scariest scenes from this season. It's gotten a lot horrifying since the last time we saw it. Its thin white skin, long limbs, large teeth, and faceless head makes for a terrifying creature. The scariest scene of all in Volume 1 comes at the end of Episode 7, where one single-handedly murders everyone in the lab. Elle and Nancy realizes the true villain, the one responsible for it all, is none other than one himself. As Henry tells Eleven of his reasons, the terror of his eyes and his dreadful voice is enough to make our blood curdle, leaving us petrified. The episode wraps up showing us how he became the Vecna. This makes for a great conclusion to the massacre at the Hawkins Lab. This season definitely exceeded expectations and gave us the ultimate horror experience, leaving the viewers horrified. It's not over just yet. Volume 2 releases in a few weeks with more grueling scenes. Let us know what you think were the scariest moments from this season down in the comment section below.